All right, thank you, Mode, Alessandra, Joseph, everyone in the room, high five. Woo, woo. All right, so we're right into session 6, grow your database. Follow along with us here. We spent the first week really focused on being the real estate of choice, breaking your job, connecting your market, starting your career, defining your value. We went into different lead generation ways of lead generating, and we focused primarily on our past clients, our core, people we know, our sphere of influence. We're now going to work on focusing on growing our database, and there's other ways to do that, right? Many multiple ways. We're going to focus on building a smart database, not just our cell phones, which, name, email, address. A smart database kind of gives us more information about their birthdays, some of their interests, and a way to kind of systematically tag everyone into those categories. We're actively going to work on building your database, feeding your database, communicating with your database, and best practices and servicing your database, right? Keep in mind, real estate right now is like a 7 to 10 year hold. So you represent Monica and I, we buy a house. We're probably not going to move for at least 10 years. So what do we do in those 10 years of building a relationship, offering services that indirectly help us grow, but also allow an opportunity for referrals and all that fun stuff. So your database is your business, building it up, the number of names in it, and a relationship with those names is really the very core of what building a real estate business is all about. As Gary Keller from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book from 20 years ago, the book came out in 2002. And believe it or not, that still applies two decades later, especially in this world where everything we do is relationship based, or it can be augmented by being a relationship based business. So like as we're surfing through, and I'll share an idea with you guys that I got from this morning's forward mindset call with Sonia, is that like even when we're surfing through social media, like if you find someone really into, I don't know, football or whatever, maybe when you're next time you're updating your name, you kind of throw in a little tag there that football's their thing. And if you end up with 2 free tickets to a Rams game that you can't attend, and they're like a high quality person that you want to be in a relationship with, a people relationship with, or they're a past client, they refer people to you, or talking off, surprise and delight with a gift like that, or a keychain to a football thing, So little things like that, you kind of take from your brain and put it into a space. And that way it's a smarter database and you're able to interact on a personal level as well. Going right into it. So when we look at defining your database, there's so many people out there, right? You can look at ads, you can download stuff from your title rep. What we want to do is we want to define like who are the ones that really stand out, right? Like before you heard us talk about your core group, these are the people and individuals that no matter what you're doing, they're going to support you in that endeavor. It can be something like real estate, it can be whatever business, but your core, you may actually physically tag them in command as core. All capital letters, color green, color red, whatever color really stands out for you. And so in that way, anytime you want to throw a big event that's specifically about appreciating your core group, then all you have to do is search that one tag core and your top 20 people come up, or your top 40 people and their spouses come up, right? So then that's just one way to kind of identify that. When you're looking at that, when you're looking at the lead generation database model, which part of this demonstrates your database? It would really be this portion right in the middle, the relationship management. And one can argue it's the whole thing. Because when you use command, you can even set it up to where you're working on your phone, saving contacts, it actually links right into the command. Now I lost that because I reset my phone a couple times and I had to reset it. And every time I was saving numbers, I would say that this is an example, Alessandra from Whole Foods. Like, well, that's a stupid way of saving a name, but then that's where I met the person and the contact. It was always like this weird last name that I had to go back and clean up anyway. So I just stopped doing that when we got a VA. And then when it comes to the model here, the idea is to kind of build it where everything that we do is database driven. So we're going to focus really the relationship management side of the database is going to be our long-term solution to keeping everyone in there. On command, you're going to hear me talk about that till I'm blue in the face because this stuff works. Even if you did a simple, like, let's get everyone on a quarterly call, it's so worth it. I'm going to step my wife's phone. turned out for alarm. It's to pick up the kids. And I'm like,
My alarm, my.
yeah. And then the 4 laws of the database. This is worth a screenshot. You know, one, you build your database, right? Now it sounds counterintuitive. Every class you go to is going to say lead generate, lead generate, lead generate, which is 100% true. There's one step before that, which is get your preferred database going. In this case, I highly suggest command. And with command, as you're making your call, you go to number 2, which is you feed it every day. So if you're taking Facebook, for example, or you're clearing through your cell phone, start inputting those in. Remember, we're doing a daily 10-4. So taking those 10 contacts of the day and adding them to the database. Or if you worked with Scott Leroy and you just did like a mass upload, then edit 10 a day. As you're calling through, search, okay, I spoke with Bob Smith. Let me find Bob Smith and update his contact. I got an email or his updated email. I got an address. I know he's into like fill in the blank. So I'm going to update all that stuff on there. Fire away, please.
So I listened to your thing this morning, you talk about going, so I did like the apps, I guess, on social media.
Yes.
And so what I did was use that to go and clean up my desk.
There you go.
So it was like.
That was the tip I wanted to share. Yeah, that was it. Hey, that was exactly it, because that was genius for me, because I'm very not interactive on social media. I post, I kind of, and you'll see one of my sins is I post and ghost. So I don't engage on the thread. I don't engage on the DMs right away. People think, oh, you check your DMs. My mom is big on that. She's like, hey, your aunt is trying to refer someone from the Philippines. You really check your messages. I'm sorry, Mom. I get coffee and green tea. Green tea. Peppermint. Thank you. But yeah, to your point, I mean, if all we did was clear through a segment of letters every week, in this case, Y, D, and F, I guess this week, you know, that would be tremendous in the amount of interaction we would make. And I imagine you get some people like replying back in time or just checking out what you're doing.
Yeah, I did what you suggested last week.
Oh,
And like put a picture, I was like, I knew, and all those people commented, and then I personally messaged them and was like, thank you for supporting me. And then my cousin was like, hey, my son in San Francisco is thinking about buying.
Whoa, crazy. It works. What a concept. There you go. I don't know if you guys caught that. You're going to post up, reply to everyone personally who congratulated you on there, and got a referral from your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your nephew's planning on buying the door. Hey, use the referral program. Connect it with someone out there. I'm just saying, their prices are down, but it's still $1.1 million to buy a San Francisco. So, good deal. Communicate it with systematically. Now there's different ways to do it. We can do the DTV2, which you were referencing. You pick 2 letters of the alphabet every week, and those 2 letters randomly, let's say like A and W for the first week, and you call everyone with the last name that starts with A, starts with W, and text everyone with the letter D, right? And then it's just a systematic way of reaching everyone. And if you did that systematically, I can get a copy of it if it's not in here. We get you guys a copy and I'll just email you guys. But it actually, you would call your database 4 times a year if you follow those steps. And we're not talking about every day. Like, let's say you took weekends off and you took time for vacation because we all need to get away, right? Travel, do some fun things. You would still be able to incorporate that in 200 work day year and still have 164 days off. Awesome. I think you shared the aha. We'll get in there. Build your database. So 1, at a minimum, each contact would have a name, contact information, past business record. Past business record, if you haven't done business with them yet, would likely be something that, how do you know them? Like if you go through my database, it'll be like point of origin of a relationship. For us, it might be when we were in insurance, it might be in my high school years, my brief time in college, my elementary school year, maybe my mom's coworkers, but predominantly most of my qualified contacts early on were from her. None. No. Like nothing. And if you do have exes, it's kind of a fun place for they're gonna buy or sell real estate, right? Any of your exes gonna buy at some point? Sell real estate, inherit real estate, invest in real estate.
In apartments.
Cold-blooded. But have fun with it. So it's just nice to kind of keep track of the who's who. Again, command, this is like, now this is an example, but on the right-hand side of the screen here, it actually does keep an active timeline, not only of what you put in there, but if you link Gmail, it also keeps track of the emails they send you. It keeps track of when they access the app that you send them. It keeps track of active campaigns that you sent them. It even keeps track of when they click on your ads. So we put an ad after your command and important. So one of our contacts clicked that ad and it showed that it registered on our app or on her timeline. So all interactions get recorded on the right-hand side here when you're looking at it. So right before you call them, you can kind of see like, oh, cool, this is my last 2, 3, 4, 5 notes and interactions. Oh, wow, here's the 20 interactions they've had with a monthly newsletter. Because you also have like a monthly, it's called monthly neighborhood nurture on here. And we can go into it with Scott Leroy or at KW Command Party, but they will, if they have at least have an email address and a preferred location that you set them up on, you'll get a monthly update of all the activity happening in that area. It shows them what the prices they're going for, what's not closing, what's selling, what's active, and then you can kind of interact with them on that space. Get help. So you can at any time check under your command database on Connect, find under technology, all the training necessary. Like, in fact, this is where a lot of our daily command parties come from, is from me watching these videos. So kind of a little hack there. Anytime I have a question, I watch the videos. And then when we have a class that focuses on it, I just teach what I learned from the video, right? And from my own fail forward experience. Let's see here. Let's get into feed your database. Feed it every day with prospecting marketing. Huge step here is the prospecting aspect. And prospecting isn't calling someone for the first time. A lot of prospecting is also follow-up. You want to make sure you're nurturing the relationship all the way through. This is where you can really work client and new referrals, repeat business with different clients, and then right back into the lead capture portion. So the value of that is that because you hear this a lot in real estate. Hey, you gotta make 120 contacts a day, preferably 100 contacts a week, however you do it. What they don't tell you is that a contact still counts for the people that already know you and like you, right? And now we're just kind of building trust for them to trust us when it comes to real estate, or we're building a trust in a sense of gaining referrals from those clients or from those people that know us, like us, and trust us already. That is still a contact that you're making every day. And every day that you build your business, like if I didn't know Monica, but I know Monica owns a house, and we know that we attract people that are like us. So she knows other people who own homes, and I just want to supplant myself as the go-to realtor in her mind that, hey, Mon, when anything ever happens with your friends and family, is there any reason I couldn't be the real estate agent of choice to help them? And she might say, well, my brother has a license. And at least then I know I'm not the number one person per se. I could be the number two, and now I can not necessarily compete, but I can address it and still provide value, become that number one person. Or I might, have the courage to ask more questions like we were talking about earlier, and find out, hey, so is your brother like, how long has he been a licensed realtor for? Oh, well, he just got his license. So he's brand new, so I can kind of work my way around understanding what's what. Your sphere will generate, this is key, will generate new repeat or referral business for you. So it's not just your, not you yourself, but your sphere will generate the business on top of you generating that business as well. Testimonial and reviews. So this is my fail forward. I wish I had done this early on, right? Our clients rave about us, and I just never took the time to set up Google until recently, or a couple of years ago. I had the Google page, but I just never taken reviews. So while you guys are starting, you guys will be so ahead of the game if you guys just set up a basic Google business page, and then every time even if it's a referral, right? You refer someone out, see if you can get that testimonial for yourself. And if you're partnering with others, like I did a review testimonial for Emilio. I'm not his client, I'm not his coach, I'm not his mentor, But I did one for him when we did a party, and I didn't put mine up there. But if you can get it from friends and family to give you a positive review about you, it doesn't hurt to have it on there. Let's see here, we'll skip that portion. Go right and communicate with your database. To succeed at a high level in real estate sales, you must commit to frequent contact with your database with the intent of building close relationships. Another big quote out of the MREA, and you're going to constantly hear this because we've shifted in from a transactional based business back when the recession happened, or the I say the recession, I guess we're in a recession. The last great recession, when the key relationship was relationship with REOs, real estate owned properties. So if you had a relationship with Wells Fargo that needed to offload 1,000 listings or 1,000 homes off your books, you were the queen of the valley. You were the queen of your market, the king of your market area. And that was still a relationship-based business because they went to the realtors who they knew and had a great relationship with, right? But that also created a very transactional-based business. It was, okay, we need a machine to get these homes on the market. We need to just sell them, offload them to investors, offload them to whoever, and a lot was missed. And the one person I can think of who benefited the most out of it, who I might know her name, Stephanie DeTaco. Because not only did she keep great relationships with those banks, she kept great relationships with the people she sold the homes to, right? So she may or may not have represented them, but she kept a relationship. So when the market started going up, guess who listed with her? Those owners listed with her. If they chose to relist with her, which a lot of them did. And her name, she was already big then. She became the biggest out of that group, right? So we're coming out of that market, and even in the one that we were in, people were selling their homes with people they knew. It didn't mean that they were experienced. The market was so hot, and you were at the right place at the right time. They were listing with you. And no different now. It's going to be heavy on that side. Last note on that is a lot of people will start online, and statistics show that 90% of people are starting with like their phone, not with us, right? They're starting online. But that same number of people, it's actually a little greater, are ending, or the same number of people are basically 95% of them who start on online, and 90% that start online end with a realtor. So they're not ending with like, oh, hey, let me buy your open door and never consult a realtor. They may start on that path, but they'll end with you, with me, with you guys. They end with us completing that transaction. So at some point, they make that secondary call or their first call after starting online and going from there. Segment your database based on interest and passion. So initially, you might start with the letter, right? But then you might market people specifically based on whether they're a seller or a buyer, or they could be an investor. And you might say, okay, well, I know Paul and Josh and Eddie and Martha and all these people, they're investors in real estate. So sending them a did you know flyer on interest rates may not be keen for them. But I come into this class, they talk about 1031 exchange that Joseph was at, and some great CPA information. I'm going to turn that flyer into a mailer, or an email newsletter. I'm going to send to all of them. So now you're target specific about your database. And remember, your database is gold, right? That's where you're going to make the bulk of your money will be right through your database. These are examples like the VIP that I kind of use that for our core group. But think about if you had 20 tickets to go to a Rams game, but secluded in those suites. And I think up to 40 people can be in there, 40, 50 people. So let's say your top 20 plus their spouses, that would be your VIP crowd. Maybe you have a crowd that's all about golf, military crowd. So that'd be more like, I had it tagged as VA, so they're more of they can qualify for VA leverage, investor network or investor referral, dog lovers. We got a couple, maybe a lot more people on that. I had an anime online, Naruto, that's kind of circles them around. My wife knows me. So with those crowds, it might be specific. I might have a lot of Dragon Ball Z references, or you're into enough references. Here we're talking about segmented newsletters. So then this is going to be more specific to them. I would even do like geographic, like this is something we just started doing. People who are within like a mile, 2 miles of us to 5 miles to 10 miles to 20 miles to 30 miles. We just started mailing them, are just listed in escrow and just sold. So now they're added to the list as much as the circle geographic micro farm list as well. 19, these are communicate with value. So you have the 19 connect, and this idea is 4 quarterly calls, 12 touch emails, which you can actually do through command. The print marketing stuff, like early on, it might just be that thank you card. Like, hey, Phil, thank you for taking my call, really appreciate it. And then one touch annual event. Now, granted, early on, I did none of this stuff. In fact, it wasn't until last year that I wasn't even emailing people, right? So my growth may have been very stunted because I never followed through on these other 15 touches, right? I may have done the Facebook happy birthday post. I may have posted on my social media, but rarely did I do this. And I focus my one energy, my one thing on phone calls, right? So again, this is the book way of doing it. The actual practical application of it, my time didn't allow for that, right? Volunteering, kids events, all this stuff. My strength didn't lie in the database. My strength lied in using the simplistic parts of it, which was follow-up and just keeping all the information on there. And I lived off of making phone calls to them, right? So if you guys never do the full 19 to connect and the full 36 to convert on contacts, and all you did was focus on DM, texting, social media, and phone calls that led to like a Zoom appointment or a one-on-one face-to-face appointment, I near darn guarantee you'll make $1 million in real estate. Crazy real aha last Friday was that, or last Thursday, it dawned on me that in 8 years, we made $1 million. It turned out to be $1.2 million in gross commissions income in 8 years, right? So our 8-year career in real estate, and we never did any of this stuff. So I'm not devaluing it in any way. I'm just saying if you really made it your one passion to connect with the people you know, you can put a lot of damage. Now, with that being said, if you did all this stuff on top of being yourself, Alessandra and Mode and Joseph and Katie and Monica and myself, like you would put it directly even faster, I know you gotta go, but we're flying through it.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. So your database is your contacts, smart database is on your phone. A data bank that'll make you money is truly command, right? And again, elephant in the room, if you ever leave, you can take all that data with you, move it elsewhere. Servicing your database, your job is to build a community and serve the community. Some of us go through Facebook circles or Facebook communities. Your data bank is that Facebook community, right? And within that community are smaller pods, smaller communities within that base. Service all leads, plan for a lead follow-up program to leverage your opportunity. And some of it will be indirect, offer to help them move, and then maybe not buying or selling direct, but you might need a provider who provides outstanding CPA services or setting up living trust. All those things that our clients need from a home ownership perspective is what we have. Campaigns for the consumer. So these are some of the 3 spots under your long-term pipeline list where you can keep track of referral opportunities, other aspects, other marketing pieces. Again, you can go through the tutorials or even Scott Leroy to kind of break down those opportunities lists. Like on ours, we have like 200 opportunity lists, meaning that there's so many buyers, so many sellers that we follow up with. And the goal for that is that you don't lose track of anybody. When we offer you guys a time to lead follow up, you just go to your opportunities list. Who did I put down as a potential seller? Who did I put down as a potential buyer? They could be on both, and they're selling and buying, or buying and selling, right? So this is the 4 laws of the database. You build it, you feed it every day, you communicate it with systematically, you service all leads, follow the 4 laws. Don't quit too soon, right? And don't feel like at the same time you need to, again, 36 touch, I can't say that I did it. But if I did take the time to actually get in the habit of doing it, believe me, I think we could have helped more people. Fewer people would have fallen through the cracks. I'm just saying that if you only have the mind space for one, make the call, put it in your database, take notes, right? If you don't do the email programs for whatever reason, you don't like the platform, or you're gonna wait to hire someone to do it, that's totally cool, because that portion can be totally outsourced. Because Mode, you can sell a ton of real estate to people you know, and then you get a ton of referrals from people you know. Joseph, the same thing, right? You have another business, another job outside of real estate, and you're not referring it out, just like make your one thing contacts. You run a household of 4 kids, don't get lost in the emails, focus on returning DMs and engaging on social media and making those calls, inviting to events. We're not married to the 19 and 36. Excuse me. Most importantly, it's long-term. It always comes from care and service. We call it being a resource and consultant. Be human is the best thing you told me to do. Goodness, we're recording. Jeez, my lord, all of this being recorded now. And the real estate business is a relationship business. And you can replace that with any business that you're doing, but when you come from relationship, everything flows. Quick story, Jordan Cohen, this is my aha moment. Jordan Cohen is a very top listing agent, self luxury homes to athletes and movie stars and all sorts of things, mostly athletes. And the reason why I bring this up is that the relationship side is that he got it in with Jerry Buss's son. I forget his name all of a sudden, but Jim Buss, there you go. So he gets an in because he has a relationship with someone, and he understands that Jordan was working really hard and donating some of his money to charity. And this guy happened to know Jim Buss of the Lakers. And right when Kobe Bryant was being drafted, he gets the signing bonus. He needs to buy a house. Okay, he said, hey, do you know a realtor who needs to buy a house in Orange County? Orange County. Jordan Cohen's from Casper. He reaches out, hey, Jordan, I have this guy from the Lakers. He has a player coming up who needs to buy a house. And I know that you donate some of your money to charity. Can you help him? Sure. Helps Kobe buy a $4 million mansion with his parents. A few weeks later, Shaq gets signed. He gets traded to the Lakers. Helped Shaq buy his first mega mansion in LA. And the rest is history. He becomes the go-to guy for the Lakers, for the Kings, eventually now the Rams and the Chargers. I mean, this guy is left and right just selling homes in Lake Sherwood, doing luxury deals in Beverly Hills, and nonstop. I don't think he got LeBron James though, because LeBron had his own thing. But my point is that all came from, and forgive me, I'm going to use this word, it came from a porn director. That was the contact. The one universal contact he knew was a guy who's in the adult film industry who happened to be friends with Jim Buss, and they just connected through that. So yeah, Jordan farmed an area, did his call, did all his work, but he kept in touch with his sphere. His sphere connected him with the one mega universal contact that opened the door to all the possibilities that he has today. So on that note, the big ahas is have your success system, your daily 10-4. Keep engaging with your sphere. Think of anyone that's not in your sphere as a bonus on top of what you're doing. Make sure you're adding the contacts or updating your contacts every day. The 10 handwritten notes, as crazy as it sounds, that will kind of cement the relationship a bit further. And don't forget to do your 10-5-1 social media engagement. My big aha today was to use everyone in YZ. I can never really call everyone. It's just too many people, but I can engage on everyone's social media that has a Y and Z in their name. So thank you guys so much. Hopefully that's helpful. I know you're taking off, but anyone online, Alessandra, Mose, Joseph, you guys have any questions about anything that we went over or anything that we helped mastermind together?
No particular question. I think I was just thinking one thought. I think it's good to back if you had contacted someone, if it's like a long-term possible client. I think you should go back and touch them just to find out how more they're into the future of buying the house. I think going back and looking at what you have in terms of database, and you should keep that as something on top of your mind so you can advance that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, totally. I mean, again, you want to touch everyone at least once a quarter as best as you can. And in order to have those conversations, you definitely bring stuff like that up. Alessandra, did you have your hand raised?
I do have a quick question.
Sure.
I know that we send our list that we want to the Scott Leroy, or give them the info. this sounds so silly. How do you download it from contacts into the like CVS file?
Are you downloading from Google or from Apple?
I was gonna do Apple.
Apple. Okay, so 2 ways on. Hang on, let me just get the web address and I'm gonna log into hang on here. Sorry guys, bookmarks. There you go, console.command.kw.com. Hang on here. Let me go to stop recording.